I really just think she should have given the guy a chance, honestly. P2 stars Wes Bentley, Rachel Nichols, and is directed by Frank Calfon. I'll have a blue Christmas. What's up, guys? We're in December, and I'm excited because I'm doing some Christmas horror movies. I love Christmas horror movies. It's probably my second favorite holiday horror movie after Halloween-themed horror movies, because I think there's some really good ones in this genre. But I recently did Silent Night, Deadly Night, and now I'm doing P2, which was actually on my top 5 underrated horror movies list. But I'm really excited to do this one because a couple things. One, it's a Christmas horror movie, but two, it's one of those isolated environment horror movies, and those are really fun to me. I mean, when you get right down to it, Die Hard was an isolated environment type of movie. And in P2, Angela, played by Rachel Nichols, she works at a high-rise building in New York, and it's Christmas Eve, so everything is shutting down. So she's just trying to get to her family to have, Christmas Eve with them. But she's stuck in the building, and the only way she can get out is through Thomas, who is a security guard in the high-rise. And when you know it, Thomas has a major Jones for Angela. He is really a stalker, the definition of a stalker. And that's about as simple as the plot gets. Wes Bentley plays this part to perfection. And it surprises me that this movie isn't more popular than it is because it's so fun. First off, one thing I really love about this is when you go into P2, you really don't know what to expect as far as the level of violence. It starts off pretty tame, and it does have kind of a slick, big budget look to it for a horror movie. But as it progresses, it does get darker, it does get bloodier, and it gets more graphic. So you never know what's around the corner. A great example is probably one of the first really violent scenes where Thomas is punishing one of Angela's co-workers. And he is literally beating the crap out of this guy while he's strapped to an office chair. So from this scene, okay, they could go anywhere with this movie. It is really crazy. Also, I was highly impressed with Rachel Nichols in this movie. I've said it before, actresses in horror movies, they often go unnoticed, probably because there's so many of them. But call it what you want, you have to bring your A-game to do a horror movie, especially like this, because by the end of this movie, she is completely exhausted. You can tell she's completely exhausted. Throughout most of the movie, she's freaking out, she's crying, she's sweating, she's bleeding. I mean, just so much is going on with just her character. And she goes through a few emotional beats because throughout most of the movie, she's more of a damsel in distress. But then there's one key moment in the movie where she kind of shifts and realizes that, hey, she's got to take this guy out on her own. The police aren't going to help. Thomas, he's just too smart for that. So she's going to have to step up to the plate and really just kick his ass. But just to touch on Wes Bentley's character again, it's interesting to me that they don't give too much away about this guy. All you know is that he is completely smitten with Angela. And with Rachel Nichols playing this part, you could probably buy that. But he takes it way too far. And you can't really say, no, that would never happen. I mean, yeah, this is extreme, but there are really guys out there like this that, take their obsession of a female to the extreme. And this movie highlights that. As far as any cons for P2, I would say it's not groundbreaking or anything. It's not something that's gonna completely shift the genre, but it is a lot of fun. It is so underrated. I would highly recommend this movie, especially if you like Christmas horror movies. You can't go wrong. And this is great to watch on Christmas Eve because it takes place on Christmas Eve. And I would definitely give it a purchase worthy. So what are your thoughts on P2? Looking forward to hearing them. And also, what are your favorite Christmas horror movies? I'm so looking forward to doing my next one, which is gonna be, I'll go ahead and let you know, Black Christmas, the remake. This one is often debated. There are people that love this movie, there are people that hate it, so you're gonna find out what I think about it. Also, make sure you become a member of Killer Flicks, where we're talking horror all day, every day. If you like what I'm doing, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And of course, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. And as always, Drumdum out.
Santa baby, just slip a sable under the tree for me.